Come on in. Come on in. We're in a new location or a new corner crevice than we're used to, and we're doing YouTube as well as Facebook Live. So bear with us, everyone. Correct. We're learning as we go. But hey, how are you doing? Welcome to another All Things Marriage. I am your host, Crystal, with my husband, Derek. And we're happy to have you all. And I hope I don't look into one more than the other. If I do, excuse me. Charge it to my head and not my heart. This is our first time doing dual at the same time.
It's super wet still.
Oh, because you were outside playing in the rain?
No.
My husband was singing in the rain.
Also, there's a thing I want to do.
What's that?
And I forgot. You're going to hate me. I'm going to have to get up.
What?
I got to change so I can flip the thing.
What do you mean?
Flip the thing right there.
So you can see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to hate you for it. Well, welcome guys. My day, let me just go ahead and start with that.
Yes.
My day was kind of calm today. It's been cloudy outside. It's been cold in here, but it feels wonderful outside. As you can see, I'm in my long sleeves because it's cold. I've been with the blanket on. I left the blanket so I can, come on in and talk to you guys. But I love my blanket. But I'm here. Cold, but I'm here. Got some reading done today. I'm happy and upbeat and excited about what God is doing and where we're going and all this stuff. But I would be lying if I wouldn't say that it hasn't been kind of challenging the past about a month or so, kind of seeing all of our family members kind of going through a lot of the different emotional loss and stuff like that. So it's been kind of difficult just kind of trying to be there for them and understand. You as well, you lost your great aunt, so it's kind of like it's a lot.
Right.
It's a lot.
So that being said, like you said, we've had some a good amount of losses, close to us, good close friends and family passing in the last couple of weeks, honestly. And, that's been tough. But overall, we're making it. Family's making it. And, we're getting through with the help of God. We're making it through. And, and again, family's making it through. It's a struggle as always, but we keep pushing, we keep moving, we keep grinding, and it is what it is.
And we love you guys.
Yeah.
If you need anything that we can help with, don't be afraid to reach out, let us know.
Yeah.
We're praying for you guys constantly. So.
But with all that, we're gonna get right into this thing, right? Not trying to hold you guys long.
Yeah.
And pardon for kind of sounding maybe a little bit down today, or a little bit kind of dreary. One, it's raining outside. It's been pretty gloomy looking.
Baby, it's cold
day outside. Super tired because of all the things that have been going on.
I think honestly, I feel like, especially me, not to cut you off, but it's going into what you were saying. We were really tired yesterday. Yesterday we went to the funeral.
Yeah.
And that was like a shift. It was like a
difference
in our routine and schedule. Throughout the week, I'm kind of just a homebody, and we go out as we need. But being out and going to the funeral and then doing stuff afterwards, so it was kind of like by the time we got home, it was just like, okay, I want to take a nap.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna get right into it. But before we do, as always, got a couple of announcements that we wanna put out there, put some bugs in you guys' ears. As always, first and foremost, share, comment, like the videos, if you're new to the channels, if you're new to our content, you see something you like, subscribe. It definitely helps the channel, and it helps us, get some feedback from you guys to know what you want to hear, to know what you think about the things that we're saying, the opinions that we're putting out. So yeah, definitely, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Announcement number 2 is the King's Kids Wellness Group. As always, we want you guys to support that Facebook group.
Yeah.
For our YouTube family. This may be the first time you guys are hearing about it if you don't follow us on Facebook, but on Facebook we have a wellness group called King's Kids Wellness, where we talk about mental health, we talk about physical health, and we put out different workout regimens that we've seen that we may have tried and that works out well for us, that we like, different food options and things of that nature.
Yeah, we give updates. Both of us kind of like updated of where we are in our progress and losing weight and stuff like that.
But it's not just about weight loss. It's about total health, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional health, checking in with each other and being there for each other, being a support system for each other. So we definitely want you guys to support that. Again, that's King's Kids Wellness on Facebook. The third really big announcement is, again, the Love Conference 2021.
Yes, Love Conference 2021.
That's
November the 21st.
November 21st.
Yes. 2021.
Right, November 21st, 2021. Registration can be found on our website, allthingsmarriage.org, and you can click the events tab, or you can scroll down on the homepage there and you'll see it there. Again, it's allthingsmarriage.org. You can click the events tab there. Love Conference 2021, you don't want to miss it. Seating is limited, so go ahead and register and get your tickets now. We have flyers up on Facebook and different ones. We have loads of different speakers, loads of different guests, a lot of things planned, and it's gonna be live. So
yeah, and we're gonna drop another guest this week, so be on the lookout.
If you've been following us on Facebook, you definitely have, and Instagram, honestly, you've seen some of the different guests that are going to be a part of the conference. So
excuse me, I think I'm missing a couple guests on the Instagram, so my apologies for not posting on Instagram, the latest one at least. But yeah, we're having a new guest be dropped this week. Right. So yeah, keep your eyes out. Make sure you get registered. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be live. We're gonna have a great time, and we want to see you all there with us. Yes. We're gonna have, and I just want to give a little bit more. We're gonna have gift giveaways. We're gonna have food. We're gonna have some vendors out there. So we want you guys to, come and enjoy yourself, get some information, and to ask those questions that we all want to know. So we'll have some people there that can, answer those questions, or at least, pray about it.
Right. So yeah, that being said, we're going to get right into the conversation for the day. And what's the topic, love?
Yeah, so today we're talking about challenges. More so about what do we feel as though it's kind of some of the biggest challenges within marriage, or what we've seen in our marriage, because clearly we haven't been in everybody's marriage.
Right.
But what we feel like though is kind of a big challenge, not necessarily what we face with one another or with the other person, but as we come into this union, what is something that we had to kind of figure out that would work best for us. So in that, what's a thing that you would consider a big challenge that we faced within our marriage or in our relationship?
Well, I'm not going to speak for you, but as for me and my house.
As for
right?
All right.
Nope. See, now you're about to make me talk about scripture.
I'm about to say it's 1, 2.
No.
But I got you in your members. All right, go ahead.
There you go. All right. Don't get it going.
I got you, baby. I got you.
But yeah, so for me, honestly, the absolute biggest challenge was the learning and understanding the concept of decision making for the collective without diminishing or belittling or neglecting yourself, right? Or not feeling like you're being neglected. We've had a conversation similar before. But for me and the way my upbringing was, we were very family oriented.
I keep messing with my hair, guys. I'm not used to hair like this.
Oh
so God. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so mom and dad, both in the house, loving family, myself, and I have 3 sisters, no brothers, right?
Right.
And so, every day I'm seeing dad get up and go to work, sometimes working multiple jobs at a time, right. 2, 3 jobs, whatever. And then getting off work and jumping straight to like yard work or working on the cars or going to church, preaching, teaching, whatever, choir rehearsal, all these different things. And when we were kids, mom is at home to make sure we're straight.
Yeah.
And then as we get a little bit older, all of us are in school and kind of going, then now mom is up late at night, working on her master's and, all of those things and going to work and teaching during the day and then coming home and cooking and doing and all of these things, right? And so everything was geared towards what's best for the family.
Right.
Right. And being the only boy, a lot of times the onus of manhood is totally dropped on. Right. And so all decisions were made for me, and I learned to make decisions for everyone else, regardless to how it impacted.
Right.
Right. And that's not to say that anyone did anything wrong or anything like that. I don't want you guys to get it twisted. I love my family and I love the way that I was raised. I wouldn't be the person that I am had I not been raised that way. Right. But when you're in that type of situation and you're in a situation where you feel forced to decide based on what everybody else needs, a lot of times you lose a sense of self.
Right.
And so the first instance you have to find that sense of self, you take it and you grab hold to it and you're not letting it go. And so, fast forward to marriage, well, then it's just like, okay, well, now I have to let go of self. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now I have to get rid of self and make decisions for someone else again. I don't like the way that feels. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do this thing if it's going to make me feel this or if it's going to make me feel neglected or left or whatever. Right. And it's just like understanding and learning that in the marriage dynamic, you're not making a decision that's building this person and tearing yourself down or vice versa. Your decisions are supposed to honestly be for the benefit of both.
Both, right.
No, go ahead.
Happy spouse.
Right.
Happy house.
Right. And so, and not to like take up all the time and
go ahead.
all that, but really, that was kind of a transition for me because I had gotten used to, in my adult years, I had gotten used to whatever works for me, regardless to how it impacts others. Right. Not that I was intentionally doing things to hurt others.
Right.
But I wasn't actively seeking out what's going to help others either. Yeah. It's just, this is my decision. And, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, oh well. Yeah. And so that was a big transition for me.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely can see that because, again, the conversation that we had last week of, the people that surround us impacts the way we think. And then that impacts our relationship. So, of course, what we're raised in.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Those instilled. Honestly, we posted something the other day of your children your marriage is the first thing your children sees as in a marriage, and the dynamic of the marriage and the dynamic of the family. So what they're seeing is what they're learning, and then they grow up to
either emulate or be the antithesis of.
Right. So
that's my word of the day, by the way, antithesis.
Both of our family dynamics were different, even though we both have big families.
Right.
I came from a single parent home.
Right.
Knew my father. My father was in our lives. He contributed and he, spent time, all that stuff, but he was not in the home.
Right.
So I saw my mom going to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
I saw her hustling and bustling and all that thing. Even though I saw my grandparents, their marriage.
Right.
Even though I saw my uncles and my aunts in their marriages, in my home was just my mom and her 3 children.
Right.
So I saw my mom working hard. That's why I kind of have the dynamic of when we came into our situation of me not working and going back to school.
Yeah.
It was a little difficult. Because I'm just like, I'm used to, going to work.
Right.
I'm used to seeing women going to work. Even with my grandmother, she was a stay-at-home mom, but she worked in the field. She had her garden, she had her pigs, and I'm a country girl, guys. So I seen her with the chickens and, the different things like this. So she constantly worked.
Right, yeah.
Within her home, outside of the home, whatever like that. So I always saw a working woman.
Right.
And it wasn't until later on in life where I seen mom not working, being taken care of by her husband, or, my aunt's not working, doing, different things like that. But so the dynamic was different.
Right.
So now I have to learn how to be effective in my marriage and my relationship, and not to be so opinionated and different things like this, because those things can be seen as disrespectful,
right.
like especially the way, the tone, and all that different things.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a challenge becoming a wife.
Right.
And for people that I was in a relationship with, that didn't work out, I see how it didn't work out.
Right.
Because I was not a wife, because I was not thinking as far as what's good for us.
Right.
Versus what's good for me, because I gotta hustle, I gotta do this, I gotta make sure I make it. I gotta make sure, I'm good at the end of the day, versus I have to make sure that we're both good.
Right.
And that I do have to sacrifice some things.
Right.
And I do have to cut off these things.
Right.
And I think a large part of that is, overall, it's cutting out the outside noise. And opinions and what we've been taught and what we've been instilled in. And then understanding that they may not all be negative,
right?
But it just doesn't work in our relationship
for us, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I do want to clarify this, in that the struggle wasn't, for me anyway. The struggle wasn't the ability to make decisions for the collective.
Right.
Right. It was
because you had
It was the mentality that decisions for the collective are inherently
yours,
are inherently going to negatively impact you. And I say that now, and I'll give a quick example. When I started college, right, and again, those of you who are close to us, we've had these conversations before. You know some of these things, right? When I started college, because I had younger siblings, and both my parents were working, and paying for the car and paying for the cell phone and the this and the that to make sure we had what we needed. Both my parents were up early in the morning, out the house, going to work by the time I was of age to go to college. Well, because of the type of student I am, it would have been better for me to go stay on campus, not worry about getting a job, and be a full-time student, have all of my classes done by noon, and then have the rest of the day to worry about homework and study and all of those things. But what was better for my family situation, to help my parents out, was to stay at home instead of staying on campus. So that I could be there to make sure my sisters, my younger sisters, got to school and got home from school, made sure they got something to eat in the morning, those types of things. And then come home and go to work in the evening to take some of those, responsibilities away from my parents, like car insurance and things like that, for the things that I was adding, you know. And again, that's neither bad nor good.
Right. That's just how it was.
That's how it was. And again, and it's one of those things where that's a decision that is just like, okay, talk with my parents, and I made that decision because that's what was best for the family, even though it wasn't necessarily best for me as a student.
Yeah. And I'm on the flip side. See, and you're the second child, I'm the baby. Right. So, and that's where that whole dynamic shifts at, because my sister will probably say the same thing. Because she didn't have necessarily a car when we were like growing up teenagers and stuff like that. She didn't necessarily have to take us to school. We were literally, I could walk to my elementary school, and then I walked to the bus. I walked to the bus stop when I got in middle school and high school. So that there's a different dynamic there. But on the flip side, as the younger child, I had things done for me that I did not have to worry about. I didn't have those pressures. Even though I knew I had to, as a single woman, I had to go out here and work and get it. There were certain things that I just knew or felt as though they're just going to be done for.
Right, it's just going to happen. And the going out and work and do is more so about what you wanted. Right. As opposed to does this help mom, or does this, or how is this going to impact? Right. How is this going to impact, Tiffany or Terrence or whoever. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I tell people all the time, like, when I hear people telling the stories of, oh yeah, my first job was McDonald's and I was 15, and I was just like, I don't have that story. I can't relate. Right. I didn't have to work until I got to college.
Yeah, like little known fact, and speaking of first job, and this is just to kind of illustrate the mentality of doing for others, because that's just that's what I was raised to do, make sure everyone's okay. My very first paycheck, most especially teenage guys, high school guys, they start working, they're gonna get their Jordans, they're gonna get the newest cell phone, they're gonna
a little fit.
Yeah, they're gonna get the sound system for their car, or get the rims or the whatever. My very first paycheck went to two things: paying my tithes, and I bought a dress for my sister. Yeah. Because we were in the mall, she wanted a dress, and my mama was just like, not right now, maybe we'll get it later. And I was just like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'll get it for her. That way you don't have to have to worry about buying it. Right. And that was my first paycheck. Yeah. So,
well, when my sister didn't have to do it. When I could wear her clothes, so long ago, when I could wear her clothes, I just wore her clothes. Right. So, but again, she probably will still have that mentality of, I get stuff and you get it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, my stuff is, don't even remember that. My stuff is benefiting you. Right. Whereas, again, I didn't have that dynamic. So, coming into a relationship where now I am the adult. Right, yeah. Not even just I am the wife. I am the adult in the situation. I have to do extra. Not even extra. I'm not going to say extra. I have to do what it takes to make this relationship work. Yeah. Because, and certain things are required of me. To make sure my spouse has what he needs. You know what I'm saying? Correct, right. So understanding those things about your childhood, about how you were raised, about what was instilled in you, what things you learned, even if it was directly or indirectly.
Right. Yeah.
You know, what shapes your mentality when you come in, and some things you have to unlearn. I have learned over the years that there are a lot of things that we have to unlearn in order to succeed in life, to succeed in our relationships, in our marriages, in our friendships, and all of that stuff. So you have to take a step back and kind of say, what in the world is going on, like in my brain, in the way that I'm set, that may be causing challenges in my relationship.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's difficult because, and here's where the challenge comes in. Like it's sitting down and examining your life with a fine tooth comb, right? And identifying the key characteristics that make you you.
Right.
One of my favorite animated movies, Inside Out. Disney and Pixar, Inside Out, and the story is basically like you have this young girl who's coming into adolescence, and they're taking a trip into her brain and looking at how she processes information, and she's she's governed by these major emotions: happiness, sadness, anger, disgust,
fear or scared.
Yeah, like
anxiety is one of those.
Fear and disgust. Right.
Yeah. Sorry.
And so, those are the key emotions, and everything everything that made her is attached to one of those emotions. And after maturing a little bit, you see they kind of like take a walk through her emotions with a fine-tooth comb, and you realize that these things aren't just bad or good. They aren't happy or sad.
Right.
They're layered.
Yeah.
And so the difficulty comes in going through those memories and going through those things about your past that make you who you are. Peeling back those layers and say, this impacted me negatively.
Yeah.
This impacts me positively.
Right.
This was good for a season, but now it's no longer beneficial to me in this way.
Yeah.
And again, that's not to say that any trait or any characteristic or whatever is good or bad.
Right.
It's just that it's what works for this situation in this season.
Yeah.
And being able and willing to and mature enough to say, hey, my mom worked a 9-to-5 and my dad worked a 9-to-5.
Yeah.
That was great for them.
Yeah.
But what works for me in my relationship is if I work 2 jobs and my wife is at home. You know what I'm saying? Or, I was raised on, I don't know, 3 square meals a day, home cooked meals. Right. And in today's climate, in this relationship,
I might get just one of them.
I might get one home cooked meal, and then I have to purchase a second. You know what I'm saying? Like it's figuring out what works, whether it was a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's not just black and white, good and bad, but it's the layers of this works in this scenario. It doesn't work in this scenario. How can I mix and match and build something that's beneficial and that's positive and that's progressive? Yeah,
that's gonna carry us.
Right.
And I'm dropping off the things that don't. I'm reserving some other stuff. Maybe I use it at work.
right. Exactly.
But I can't use it at home. That's not something that I can use at home to make sure my relationship is stable and we're moving in a positive light. So I definitely agree.
Oh yeah.
I definitely agree. And clearly it's not just I've mastered it in this season.
Yeah.
And we're good for the next 50 years.
Right.
Like no, I need to do that every
daily.
So often.
Like
daily sometimes. Especially daily when you're first, realizing, this is a challenge or this is something that's an issue.
Right.
We have to do this daily. We have to do the fine-tooth comb daily and checking ourselves. I know one of the issues that I have, and this may or may not go with it, but transparency moment. When Derek says something and he might not understand why I did something or why I haven't done something, and if I'm doing something else in the midst of him asking why are you doing that, prime example for today's video, I had the chair set up one way, I hadn't moved it. He didn't know that. I didn't communicate to him that I hadn't moved it yet. I moved one chair and the other chair was still sitting in its spot, its usual spot. He says, well, why are you moving that? I was on the phone and he was just like, well, why are you moving it? And I was just like, immediately, like, why are you asking me why am I moving this? Right. In my brain, I'm like, why are you asking me why am I moving this?
Should be self-explanatory.
It should be self-explanatory, especially since I said earlier, we're going to sit over here, da-da-da-da. But when he walked in, he only seen one chair over here. The other chair was in its other place. So, knowing how my husband thinks, and it's honestly logical since I didn't add the other pieces in,
right?
You're going to just leave that chair right there. You moved this chair. Why didn't you move that chair?
And begin setting up for things to be in its current.
Right, and he had already started setting up stuff and all that stuff. But my mind was just like, what you mean why am I moving this chair? And so I immediately got like an attitude. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily a deep attitude or an attitude of we're going to argue it for 2 hours. I was just like, but knowing myself, knowing that I get flustered when people question me with something I feel like should be logical, I need to check myself. And say, baby, I'm really sorry. And this is a real apology. Like, I'm sorry. Because I do notice that about myself. So we have to constantly do that.
Right.
And I'm not just doing it because we're on the live right now, because I didn't have to share that with you.
Right.
But we really have to honestly do that constantly about ourselves and, work on that. Not just, okay, I do have that problem. Well, that's just the way I am. No, we have to say that's something that I do struggle with. That's a challenge for me, but also a challenge for in my relationship.
Right.
And I need to work on that.
That's the way I am, but it's not helpful in this season.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't see that being helpful in nobody's season.
Well,
because
we're speaking general.
Yes,
right?
in general.
Yeah.
It might be good in one season, but it's not good in this season.
Yeah.
And so we discard it. We move it to the side. We improve it. We perfect it. We substitute it out for something else.
We nurture it, and if it's working, we nurture it. We grow it. We take like we talked about last week. We take the fruit from it.
Yeah.
The fruit that is born.
Yeah.
And then we purge that which will hinder its positive growth. Yeah. Hinder its positive reproduction of fruitfulness. Yeah. Right? So and then those things that are dead, those things that are hindering what?
I was about to say, yet was he dead. But
come on now. Those things that are dead and decaying and not and hindering the growth. Yeah. You remove those things. Yeah. You cut those things away and you throw them and discard them, and as the Bible says, you burn them. Yeah. So that they can't come back. So there was
no more.
Right. But yeah, like that's that's good talk. That's good conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we done came. I mean, you guys can hop on. You can say what you need to say. We'll respond. But we probably about to head on out.
Oh yeah, because Az is hungry.
Yeah, baby hasn't eaten yet. Yeah, so he comes in and just start going to work.
It's a thing.
Sometimes that's how life goes. That's how life goes. But again, so we want to remind you guys, November 21st, the Love Conference.
Love Conference 2021. Registration is open and live.
It's wide open.
The link is jump on in there. The comments on Facebook. We'll drop the link in the description as well on Facebook as well as YouTube.
Yep. If you're new to this podcast, hit that subscribe,
like, share, comment, subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Check
King's
out the
Kids
website.
Wellness.
King's Kids. Check out King's Kids Wellness on Facebook. Check out our website, allthingsmarriage.org, and we will see you next week.
Holla!
That part was. Yep.